over 13 million people need humanitarian assistance. Half of them are children.
Charles Lawley is the head of advocacy and public affairs for Syria Relief. It's an NGO dedicated to alleviating the suffering of Syrians affected by the country's conflict. Charles, welcome to the programme. Listen, away from the disappointment of a $4 billion shortfall, where is the money needed the most?
I would say livelihoods and cash grants. There are over 80% of Syrians now living in poverty. 13 million are in need of some form of humanitarian assistance. And every single family, every single Syrian who needs help has very specific individual needs. And a lack of employment opportunities and a lack of income means that people are really struggling to meet their own needs. So, yeah, it's, whether it's water, whether it's food, whether it's medicine, whether it's education, there's a wide-ranging amount of needs. So, yeah, what really needs to happen is for the Syrian people to be given the chance to earn income and not be completely reliant on aid organisations like ourselves at Syria Relief.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the refugees, the millions who are living outside of Syria, most of them in neighbouring countries, of course, that should be, apart from the fact that there's so many of them, logistically fairly straightforward. But what about the political challenge of distributing aid inside Syria, considering the fact that Bashar al-Assad may want to be involved and his regime in terms of who gets what money, how they get it, and how the money is used?
Absolutely. The politicisation of aid has been a huge issue throughout this 10 years of conflict. Someone like Syria Relief, we're apolitical, we're completely neutral. All we want to do is get aid to where it's needed most. And when political actors in this conflict make it harder, it makes me quite cross, because what we're doing at Syria Relief, what our NGO colleagues are doing, is we are treating the symptoms of a political disease. We're always going to need to be here until there's a sustainable peace, until there's a sustainable political solution. So when our aid gets politicised, it makes it even harder. It makes the suffering, and the suffering now, the humanitarian needs are worse than ever of the Syrian people. It's going to make it even worse.
Charles, just quickly, I mean, I've been asked to move on, but I mean, it's occurred to me that I really would like to get your analysis about what's happening with the coronavirus pandemic inside Syria.
I'm going to be honest with you. Sadly, for most Syrians, it's not even in their top 10 concerns. When there's 12 million who are food insecure, 12.5 million without access to clean water, 2.5 million children out of education. COVID, for a lot of people, isn't in the top 10 concerns. But, it's hard to meet because 40% of hospitals and healthcare facilities have been bombed, have been damaged, have been destroyed. That the capacity in Syria to meet the needs, healthcare needs of people suffering from coronavirus and any other illness is severely diminished.
Charles, thanks very much indeed for the information. And obviously we'll be covering everything that happens in Syria, considering Turkey's relationship with the refugees, the 3.6 million of them who live in Turkish territory. Thanks so much indeed, Charles Lawley.